Ashnod's Altar might be the perfect card for Pauper Zubera Storm, allowing you to actually flashback Resentful Revelation and have enough mana so you don't fizzle. Let's go check out today's deck list. Let's begin by thanking Peyton Story for yet another donation deck here at the Epic Storm. Peyton, really, thank you for your continued support. And Peyton wanted to see Ashnod's Altar in Zubera Storm. So if you didn't find my last video, you can find it in the card above now, where at the end I said I wanted to play Ashnod's Altar as my sacrifice outlet because it doesn't die to Gut Shot or things like Lava Dart. And Peyton wanted to see that update. So today has basically been, iterative testing to make sure that we can create a list that works. No matter what, I'm going to upload this league. It's going to be my third league playing the deck. In the first league, I played 15 lands due to the increased mana value of Ashnod's Altar over Viscera Seer. And Ashnod's Altar was good. It was really good when it worked, but I had some mana issues. So even with the extra lands, I found that it was a little clunky. So I've done some adjustments. We're playing Lotus Petal in this list. My previous list did not play Lotus Petal. The previous list added in Rowan's Grim Search and Artifact lands because that first list had inconsistency problems. I added in Ransack the Lab and Resentful Revelation in that previous video, which worked out really well, but even in that video, there were some inconsistency issues. So today, they were really bad, so I decided to add in Rowan's Grim Search, and that solved the inconsistency issues. It really did. It digs 6 cards deep for Floating-Dream Zubera or the Ashnod's Altar, which we love. The downside, I added another 3 mana value card to my deck. And in that second league, I kept on getting outraced by things like Elves, Mono White Heroic, things that I feel like Zubera Storm should beat. Decks that don't interact, it's just they try to race you. But I increased the mana value of my deck so much with Ashnod's Altar and Rowan's Grim Search that I just didn't love it. So I was playing the Drossford Bridge, I believe it is, the red-black bridge, and I cut it. So instead, we're playing Seat of the Synod as another untapped land in Lotus Petals. So I've sped the deck up, which is what I think the deck needed, because it was too many tap lands and too many things that cost 3. So I also shaved 1 Rowan's Grim Search and went down to 3. I put in Lotus Petals, and this is going to be the final league. Like, I think this list is going to work, and I'm not trying to only upload videos where I do well, but I also don't want to upload something I don't believe in. So Peyton, you got a little bit more out of me than your initial base donation deck, but I wanted to upload good content. Hopefully we do today. So if you appreciate the video and me, putting in more effort on this video, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Hopefully you enjoy it. And if you do, let me know why in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear that feedback from you. But for now, we're going to hop on in to that first match, and I will see you there. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. You can also show your support by becoming a member of this channel. You get sweet perks such as badges, emotes, early access to videos, exclusive members-only content, and access to our members Discord section. As you increase the tiers, there are other rewards such as shop discounts, cyborg guides, and even free donation decks. Click the join button down below to find out more. We also have other ways you can support us, like theepicstorm.com/shop or submitting a donation deck via theepicstorm.com/donation decks. That's enough for now. Let's play some Magic. Welcome to match number 1 with Pauper Zubera Storm. We're on the draw. So your only land is a Vault of Whispers. If you had a second land, this hand would be a Snap Keep. I think I'm going to mulligan. I just really want 2 lands. Ah, brutal. Alright, we're going to 5. This is better. Get rid of 1 Floating-Dream Zubera and the Lotus Petal. Okay. Basic Forest into Llanowar Elves. We'll play the bridge, pass the turn, base cycle Generous Ent for a forest, Priest of Titania. We draw another bridge. We'll play Vault of Whispers and Resentful Revelation. Let's take another Resentful Revelation, I suppose. Pass the turn. We play a Fyndhorn Elves and a Llanowar Elves. Priest of Titania now taps for 4. 5 mana total. Another Priest of Titania, Timberwatch Elf. Okay. I am running out of time. Ashnod's Altar was a good draw. We'll play Floating-Dream Zubera and pass. They play Elvish Mystic and lead the Stampede as their final card in hand. Unfortunate for me. Nyxborn Hydra, Priest of Titania, and a Fyndhorn Elves. So, once again, it looks like we're going to be outraced here unless I have a pretty good draw step. I mean, we did mulligan to 5. A 7-card hand that was playable probably would have raced this, but that's not how it went. That's a 21-21, so I have to block here. Wow. That's not good for me. Yeah, that's really bad, actually. So I'll go to 1. Damn. Okay, I think we're probably just dead. What does a winning game look like here? So I probably have to Resentful Revelation into Unearth, and I did not. Alright, so we lost on the draw. I mean, we mulliganed to 5. Like, I think that was actually a fine game for a mulligan to 5. We stood a chance at winning if, you know, we didn't have to chump block. It's just not how it worked. So a lot of these lists are playing Fairy Macabre on the board, so I'm going to board in the second Ember-Fist Zubera and board out 1 Rowan's Grim Search, and then resubmit. I don't think you have time to play Pilfer in this matchup, so I don't think that's a card you should board in. You're supposed to just try to dodge and then have the backup win if necessary. On the play. Keep. I mean, this hand is incredible. We'll play the bridge and pass. They play turn 1 Finthorn Elves. Vault of Whispers. We will play Floating-Dream Zubera. Pass the turn. They cycle Generous Scent. Forest. Masked Vandal on my land. That's annoying. Alright, so now we'll Resentful Revelation on our turn. Not that after all, a very good draw here. I mean, we have everything we need to win. We just need to get the Ashnod's Altar into play. I'll take Dark Ritual. Pass the turn. They play Quirion Ranger. Elvish Vanguard. 4 cards still in their hand. They untap the Finthorn Elves. They replay the Forest. And they're going to pass. I mean, I think that this is our spot where we're supposed to try to win. If they have a Fairy Macabre, like, congratulations, you opened up a hand with Mass Vandal and Fairy Macabre. So we'll play Dark Ritual into Ashnod's Altar. We'll play Not Dead After All on the Floating-Dream Zubera. And now we'll sacrifice the Floating-Dream Zubera. Put the draw trigger underneath so that way the return trigger happens first. And now with the Floating-Dream Zubera draw trigger on the stack, we'll sacrifice it again. And this means that we'll draw 4 cards instead of just 2. So they'll lose 1. And now we'll draw 2 more. I will sacrifice the Lotus Petal for a black. That gives me Threshold for Cabal Ritual. And we'll have 8 mana once this resolves. We'll play Exhume. This will return the Floating-Dream Zubera. We'll play Feign Death. And now we'll sacrifice again. So mana probably is not going to be the choke point. And this is the nice part of Ashnod's Altar, is like once you get going, mana is, you know, the least of your concerns. So we'll draw more cards. We'll play our land for the turn. We'll play Unearth on the Floating-Dream Zubera. Not Dead After All. Let's draw some more cards. Sacrifice. Okay, we drew our win conditions. 23 cards left in deck. Let's play a Dark Ritual. Play out Lotus Petal. It says 6 Zubera have died this turn. I think we're at a point where we can just win the game. I'll make a red. Play the Ember-Fist Zubera. And now I'll play Not Dead After All. Sacrifice the Ember-Fist Zubera. Damage trigger underneath. The return trigger will happen. And now I'll play a Not Dead After All again. Sacrifice the Ember-Fist Zubera. Target you. And they concede. Alright, so we got game number 2. Now we need to win game 3 on the draw. Let's go. Yeah, I mean, we have to find the Floating-Dream Zubera, but this hand is good enough. They have Forest into Llanowar Elves. We'll play Swamp and pass. Resentful Revelation was a fine draw. It gives us something to do on the second turn. Well-Wisher. If their game plan is to gain a bunch of life, that is very good for me, because our deck can deal a lot of damage. So if their whole game plan is just gain life, I like that. This was not particularly good. I guess we'll just take a Not Dead After All. I was really hoping for more mana there, or a Floating-Dream Zubera. If we don't draw a mana next turn, I might have to Cabal Ritual into Rowan's Grim Search, just to draw 2. They're going to attack for 2. Sure, I go to 18, and they pass. I guess we'll ransack the lab here. Ooh. No, we already have an Ashnod's Altar. Okay, we'll take the bridge. Play the bridge. Pass the turn. So we've seen 25% of our deck, no Floating-Dream Zubera yet. They use the Well-Wisher. They cycle Generous Scent. So now if they have a Mass Vandal, they can exile my land, and they do. Yep. A little annoying. Not the end of the world. They swing. We'll go to 16. Another copy of Not Dead After All. This is tough. If I discard the Ember-Fist Zubera, I cannot beat a Fairy Macabre. So I don't want to do that. I could just go Cabal Ritual Rowans, but I'd have to find the Floating-Dream Zubera and a way to cast it, or put it to the graveyard and reanimate. I think I'm going to pass and discard one copy of Not Dead After All. They gain life, sure. Okay. 5 mana for an Avenging Hunter. The clock is now on. I was fortunate that they didn't have a fast clock before, but now they drew the Avenging Hunter. They grab another forest. Okay. Draw for turn. Lotus Petal. Okay, so we'll play Cabal Ritual Threshold. We'll now play Rowan's Grim Search. Sacrifice the Vault of Whispers. We did not, excuse me, we did not find Floating-Dream Zubera. I am not allowed to keep any of these. So they'll all go to the graveyard. We bricked. Wow. Over a third of our deck. No Floating-Dream Zubera. So the best thing I can do here is play Ashnod's Altar, pass. And hope that they don't destroy it and that I'm not dead. They're up to 31. So they can make a creature larger here. They make the Mass Vandal a little bit bigger. Currently they're attacking in for 10. Could be 11 with the Well-Wisher. Timberwatch Elves, Quirion Ranger, Fyndhorn Elves. They play the Quirion Ranger, Fyndhorn Elves. So if they swing out, it actually shuts off the additional copies of Rowan's Grim Search. They're making more mana here. The Timberwatch Elf. I think it would have been better for them if they had just swung out, but they did not take that path. So now additional copies of Rowan's Grim Search are now outs for me. I'm at 4. Once again, we did not draw the Floating-Dream Zubera. So I can cycle Unearth, but that's it. That's all we can do here. Actually, I would like to discuss another possibility. Okay, so what if, instead of just cycling Unearth, what if instead I play Ember-Fist Zubera, and then Not Dead After All, Not Dead After All. So that would give me 6 mana through the Ashnod's Altar, and it would cost me 4. And then I could flash back the Resentful Revelation, giving me 3 looks instead of 1. And then I could unearth the Floating-Dream Zubera, but I wouldn't have any Undying effects. But the Floating-Dream Zubera would draw 4 because I sacrificed the Ember-Fist Zubera. So I think this is actually the best line I have. It's not great, but it's what we can do here. So we'll play the Ember-Fist Zubera. Not Dead After All. Sacrifice the Ember-Fist Zubera. I mean, I could kill like the Well-Wisher or something. I just don't think that matters here. So now we'll return it with a Wicked Roll token. And they did have Fairy Macabre. Bummer. They had it all. Nothing I can do. They got both of our Ember-Fist Zuberas. Yeah, you got me. Alright, so I would like to look at the top 4 and see if, or I guess it's only top 3 to see if we would have hit. 1, 2, 3. We would have hit the Floating-Dream Zubera. So my line would have worked. Cycling would not have worked, but the Flashback Ransack the Lab line would have worked. I would have taken Dark Ritual and then played Unearth. We would have sacrificed Floating-Dream Zubera and drawn 4 more cards. Will it let me draw 4? It will not. Okay. So we are 0-1 to start off this Pauper League. Packs.com is the new way to open your favorite cards. It's a site where you open digital packs of trading cards like Magic the Gathering, Pokemon, and One Piece cards, and have the cards you open mailed quickly and securely to you. With a wide range of packs to choose from, such as the latest Magic sets, Kaladesh Inventions, or even Beta. I'm going to open a Beta pack. What's great about Packs.com is you can see all of the cards and their odds of being opened in each pack. Now it's time to open one and see what I get. Come on, Black Lotus! If you don't like what you opened, you could sell it back instantly for more packs, or sell it and pick a specific card from the marketplace over at packs.com/market. If you want to check out packs.com, make sure to click the link in the description of this video and use code STORM5 when making a purchase for 5% extra on your first purchase. Is the risk worth the reward? That's the question here. I'm going to choose to keep this. We have everything we need other than mana. We're facing a blue deck, that's problematic. But I'm going to choose to believe. And I'm going to go to discard here and get rid of the Floating-Dream Zubera on purpose. That way it's easier to reanimate using Unearth. The tough part will be resolving our Ashnod's Altar versus a blue deck. We'll play our Swamp, pass the turn. They play a Brainstorm. And now another land. They pass the turn. Dark Ritual. I'm going to choose to just pass here. Get rid of the Resentful Revelation. I'm hoping our opponent gives me a window to win by tapping out, thinking that I'm stuck. They fetch with the Perilous Landscape. Looks like they're Jeskai Control. Okay. Lotus Petal. I will attempt an Unearth here to see if I can draw out a counter spell. Pass. They kill it and I'll draw a card. We drew a land. Get rid of the Cabal Ritual. They have another land. Looks like our opponent's just like unwilling to ever tap out. So we'll play Mistvault Bridge and pass. Land number 6. 5 cards in their hand. Mole Drifter. Now an Ephemerate. We'll play Bridge, pass. Now we're drawing this string of lands just a little too late. Do you want to Ephemerate again? Looks like they do. 9 cards in their hand here. Murmuring Mystic. This is a chance for us to win here. They tapped down to just 1 counterspell. Let's try Ashnod's Altar. They paused and then let it resolve. Interesting. Let's try Dark Ritual. They do counterspell here. So I could unearth on the Floating-Dream Zubera and then draw 1 card. That doesn't seem worth it to me. I'll just pass. So they attack for 4. I'll go to 16. Exhume. I'm going to play Lotus Petal and pass, and then on the end step, attempt a Rowan's Grim Search. They cycle the Perilous Landscape. They attack. Ouch. Augur of Bolas. Sure. They find Ethereal Haze. That actually would stop my combo. Interesting. Because it doesn't say combat damage. It says that would be dealt by creatures. We'll take Floating-Dream Zubera and a Lotus Petal. Okay, let's try to unearth Floating-Dream Zubera. Am I allowed to do that? Let's attempt a Not Dead After All. We're going to Scred in response. I will sacrifice the Floating-Dream Zubera and make 2 colorless mana. We draw into Ransack the Lab. We'll play Lotus Petal and Lotus Petal. Let's Ransack the Lab again. We'll take Unearth and Unearth on the Floating-Dream Zubera. Sacrifice it and draw 2 cards. We'll play Vault of Whispers and Exhume. That's all 4 Lotus Petals. They're going to Scred on their own creature here. Return the Floating-Dream Zubera. They're going to have a draw 2 trigger off the Mole Drifter. I'm going to respond to that. Let's Feign Death. Another Scred. I will sacrifice the Floating-Dream Zubera in response. We have fizzled. Because we've already played a land and we have all 4 of our Lotus Petals already. I guess I can play an Ashnod's Altar in case they remove my other one. But unfortunately, we have to pass. I'm at 10. They have 8 damage on board, so I'm dead to a Lightning Bolt. That's 9 damage. So this will put me to 1. They play a Preordain. They play an island and they pass with 5 cards in hand. We will attempt to play Floating-Dream Zubera. Sacrifice it to make 2 colorless mana and draw a card. Resentful Revelation. Take another Floating-Dream Zubera. We'll play Floating-Dream Zubera. They counterspell. Play Dark Ritual. And another Floating-Dream Zubera. And another counterspell. Okay, well, they got me. Not a whole lot I could have done that game. You could argue that maybe I wasn't supposed to keep, but that hand had everything. And I ended up hitting my lands. I think we definitely want Dispels here. I don't know if I love Rowan's Grim Search in the matchup, so I think that those are probably fine cards to sideboard out. I don't think this deck would play Fairy Macabre, so I don't think you need the Ember-Fist Zubera. You can maybe get rid of like 1 Cabal Ritual. I'm not sure. We'll try this. Game 2 on the play. Nope. It's gonna be like that, huh? Okay. The 5. We will keep bottom. Not Dead After All. And Exhume. Play a land and pass. They play a Glacial Floodplain. We'll play Swamp number 2 into Ransack the Lab. We'll take another Ransack the Lab. Pass. Play our Swamp. Ransack the Lab. We'll take a Seat of the Synod. Pass. They cycle with Lorien Revealed. We'll play Seat and Resentful Revelation. We'll take another Resentful Revelation, and now we'll play it. Take Resentful Revelation. Pass the turn. Augur of Bolas. They pick up a Scred. Play another Resentful Revelation. I think we take another Dispel here. And Resentful Revelation. Ashnod's Altar. Pass the turn. I mean, for us mulliganing to 5 again, we're not in a terrible spot. We are still capable of winning. They exiled my graveyard. Sure. I don't know if that even mattered. Like, I mean, my Cabal Rituals make less mana, I suppose. They have 5 in hand. Let's try playing Ashnod's Altar. I'd prefer double Dispel backup, but they counterspell. I will Dispel. They have another counterspell. Pass the turn. They cycle Lorien Revealed. Archaeomancer. Picks up the Thraben Charm. Okay. We draw Bridge. Pass the turn. I will go to 16. Another Archaeomancer. Picks up Counterspell. We have to pass. And I feel like the game has been locked up at this point. They have Thraben Charm plus Counterspell. Pass the turn. They cycle Perilous Landscape. I take 3 down to 10. Another Dispel. We will pass. The Ephemerate on the Archaeomancer. Yeah, we're locked out for sure at this point. So now the Ephemerate will pick itself back up. Yep. There's no chance we win. They swing. We're at 8. I'm going to call it. All right, we're 0-2. Let's go try to win match number 3. Moxfield.com is the easiest way to build a Magic deck online. They support over 30 formats, including Legacy and many other Eternal formats. There are so many options to view decks the way that you want, from text view to individual cards, mana value, and even card price. There's also light mode and dark mode. My personal favorite feature is card tags. This way you can sort cards by function. Moxfield supports collection tracking, Scryfall search, decklist feedback, and so much more. Follow me on Moxfield.com so you can stay updated on all of my decks. Round number 3 on the play. Sure, this seems like a reasonable hand. You don't have Ashnod's Altar or the Floating-Dream Zubera, but you do have lands and a Resentful Revelation to dig, which is what I think is most important. We'll play Swamp and pass. A Mountain into Voldaren Epicure, so we're facing mono red. Not a great matchup for us. Another Dark Ritual. We don't really need mana at this point. I'll take the Rowan's Grim Search. Pass. Goblin Tomb Raider, so now they'll attack for 3. I'm at 16. We'll play Swamp and pass the turn. On their end step, I'm going to Rowan's Grim Search. Another Goblin Tomb Raider, so this is 5 damage coming in, putting me to 11. I really need Rowan's Grim Search to hit like both combo pieces here. We'll cast it with Bargain down to 9. It hit neither, so we'll take Rowan's Grim Search, and that's it. And a tap land. Not great. Okay, deck. We're probably dead if we pass. So I think it's now or never. We'll play Dark Ritual. Dark Ritual, Cabal Ritual with Threshold. We'll make a blue. We need Floating-Dream Zubera and the Ashnod's Altar. Sacrifice. Neither. Okay. Sweet. We saw over a third of our deck, neither combo piece. We lose game number 1 to burn. I mean, that's a lot of cards to dig to not hit our combo pieces. Unfortunate. That's like not hitting a Songs of the Damned or a Rowan's that deep in Cycle Storm. This is not a matchup I think we sideboard for. I'm going to just resubmit. Game 2 on the play. No. This is probably fine. Getting rid of the Rowans most likely. Or a Feign Death. Maybe it's Feign Death. We'll play a bridge, pass. They play Mountain into Clockwork Percussionist. Vault of Whispers, and let's play Ransack the Lab. I think we just take the mana source here so that way I can Rowan's Grim Search. Land number 2 into Burning Tree Emissary. Burning Tree Emissary. Oh no. Into Relic. Yikes. Okay. Remove the Unearth. They swing. We'll play Resentful Revelation. Take the Lotus Petal. Pass the turn. So my approach to the red matchups, and you might be saying that I'm wrong for not boarding in like Steel Sabotage for the Relic, is even with Cycle Storm, the red decks are so fast that if you stumble even a little bit, you lose. And boarding in those cards and then your opponent not having a relic forces you to stumble. And I've decided at some point that I'm just going to pretend that they don't have relics, and that has led to a higher win rate than when I was boarding in the Graveyard Hate. So I get that it looks bad here, I really do. But I think long term, you have more success just ignoring Relic of Progenitus and pretending it doesn't exist. Because the red deck is so efficient at killing you quickly. That's 10 damage, so I can't even play the Rowans anymore. Yikes. Okay. This has been an ugly, ugly league so far. I really think the list I'm playing is better than the one I recorded in the previous video, but so far the games have not shown that. We're 0-3, looking to get our first match win at match number 4. Looking to make playing your favorite combo deck much easier? Look no further than the Epic Storm Mini Combo Pack, which is available at theepicstorm.com/shop for $15.99. This token combo pack comes with 84 double-sided tokens featuring classic Storm and Mana tokens with new inclusions such as our modern Ruby Storm package, but that's not all. Our token pack covers a variety of formats from Pauper to CDH with new tokens. Stop on by theepicstorm.com/shop and make an easy decision to elevate your combo game. All right, we're back for match number 4. Hopefully our first victory will keep. See how this one goes. All right, so it looks like we're facing Burn. Unearth, not a terrible draw. We'll play the bridge and pass. They swing, we'll go to 18. Another Voldaren Epicure. Another Unearth. Well, that one was a bad draw. So we'll play Lotus Petal. And this might be crazy. I think I'm going to Rowan's Grim Search here. Dark Ritual. And we'll bargain away the Lotus Petal. Land, Resentful Revelation. I think I'll take those. Gives me a better look to keep going. So we'll play the land and pass. Our opponent plays land number 3 with 4 cards in hand. They swing, I'll go to 13. They plot a Highway Robbery. We draw a Lotus Petal. We'll play the Resentful Revelation. We need to find a Floating-Dream Zubera. That needs to happen here. Otherwise, we're probably going to be too slow. We did not hit. We'll take Cabal Ritual. Pass the turn. They play a Mountain into Gutter Snipe. So they do have the Highway Robbery that they can plot. So this brings me down to 11. Highway Robbery would be 9. Fiery Temper would be 5, so I'd be at 4. If they discarded a... No, it doesn't work that way. So I guess if they had like Bolt plus discard Lava Dart here, it's a Fiery Temper. Okay, so they would have to have Fire Blast to kill me. Yep, and they do. Okay. You know, this is just me ranting a little bit. I find it really funny how what our opponent did is perfectly allowed and acceptable in Pauper. And I get it. Like, I'm not complaining that this should be banned. I'm really not. What I'm saying is that if Burn is allowed to kill me this quickly, why can't I play High Tide? Or, you know, Galvanic Relay? Like, the Burn deck is so efficient at just goldfishing you that it seems really funny to me that I'm not allowed to play efficient combo decks in this format. Like, a bunch of whiners got on Twitter and complained a whole bunch, and then they banned a deck, the deck being High Tide, that was the 10th most popular deck on MTG Goldfish when it was banned. It was not even close to above the line, in my opinion, but they banned it anyway. And it's just, people seem to think that losing to Burn before, you know, you untap or whatever is perfectly acceptable. But for some reason, allowing combo exist is a no-no. It's so funny to me. Sure, we'll keep. We'll play the Swamp and pass. They have Mountain and pass. Cabal Ritual. I think I'm going to use the Lotus Petal here to play Resentful Revelation. I think it's the seat of the Synod here. Like, I'd love to take the Rowan's Grim Search, but we have nothing to bargain. So that doesn't make sense. They have land number 2 into Highway Robbery. They discard a Sneaky Snacker that would then return due to the drawing of 3 cards that turn. Rowan's Grim Search. Well, it looks like that worked out. I will pass here. They swing at 18. They have 7 cards. I'm going to choose to take another draw step. I could Dark Ritual or Cabal Ritual out the Rowan's Grim Search, but it seems like a waste of mana. We'll play Resentful Revelation. We missed again. I'll take Lotus Petal. I don't think we have mana to play Revelation and Rowan's next turn. And I'm assuming that if I get another turn, it will be my last. Instead, if they Lightning Bolt me, I go to 15. Another Lightning Bolt down to 12. They have land number 4. 5 cards still in hand. I now am at 10. Can you deal me 10 damage? Voldaren Epicure brings me down to 9. They discard a Fiery Temper. This is 6. So I am dead to 2 3 damage burn spells, or a Fire Blast plus a 2 damage burn spell. Maybe I forgot about the Madness cost on there. Alright, it's now or never. Dark Ritual. Dark Ritual. Cabal Ritual. I think we have to accept losing to Fire Blast here. Sacrifice the Seat of the Synod. We did not find the Floating-Dream Zubera, so I'll take Cabal Ritual and to Ransack the Lab. We'll play Cabal Ritual. Ransack the Lab. We didn't find it. Again! This is insane. We've had so many games today where I just have not found Floating-Dream Zubera. That's a third of my deck. I'm at a loss here. I don't even know what to say. Yeah. Alright, so we went 0-4. I'm just stunned. I think that's the only way I can really describe it. So, on paper, I like this deck a lot. In practice, it did not work. In my last league, I felt like Ransack the Lab and Resentful Revelation shored up a lot of weaknesses that the deck had, where in this league, it did not play out that way. So, I am sorry, Peyton, that I could not record a video that worked with Zubera Storm. I really put in a lot of effort today, 3 leagues, and none of them seemed to function. I think the one in front of you is the one that I would, trust the most, and it did not work. Maybe you just have to play the Shred Memory package in the main deck, and you're not allowed to play things like Resentful Revelation and Ransack the Lab and Rowan's. So you could look at playing Shred Memories. Maybe you keep Ashnod's Altar. Maybe you have to play one that Shred Memory gets. So like the Bloodthrone Vampire. Maybe you go back to Mole Drifter for the Not Dead After Alls. I don't know how to fix the deck from here. The banning of Deadly Dispute really hurt this deck, and it feels like it's been struggling ever since. So I don't really know what else to say. As of right now, I think Pauper Zubera Storm might be dead. But if you have a better idea on how to fix it, put it in the comment section down below. Sorry the league didn't go well, but I appreciate you watching. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and as always, keep storming. Thanks for checking out today's video. We are sponsored by KMC Sleeves. I use hard perfect fits on every card in my collection. Doesn't matter if it's a deck, a binder, or a box. And then KMC Hyper Phoenix on all of my decks. They're the best way to protect your cards. And if you're interested in getting your own, visit kmcsleeves.com and use code STORM10 at checkout for 10% off.